My sister-in-law tried to blow up my life by DNA testing my daughter behind my back and then shoving the results in my face, but it blew up back at her because I already knew she wasn't mine. I, 30M, have a daughter who is 6, but I am not biologically related to her. There is no blood relation between us. I was friends with her mother for most of my childhood. We were never romantically involved and were always just friends. She had her daughter at 23 with her 25-year-old husband. When my daughter was a newborn, about 3 months old, both her mother and father were unalived. I won't go into too much detail for privacy reasons, but it was a workplace shooting. My friend and her husband worked in the same building and were both victims of the incident. Both my friend and her husband had grown up with less than ideal families and didn't have any siblings, so there wasn't any next of kin for their daughter to go to. However, because I was close with them, I was able to adopt her. Even though I had been unsure about the idea of kids, I didn't want their daughter to grow up in foster care or around people who didn't have a connection to her biological parents, so I stepped in. My parents and siblings know that my daughter is not my biological daughter. My daughter, I'll call her Lily for this post, also knows that she's adopted. I never really hid the fact that she was adopted. She knows her parents died because of a bad man, but I'm saving the details for when she's older. Lily does not look like me at all. She looks exactly like her mother and biological dad. Most people assume that I'm her biological dad and that she just takes after her mom. I don't usually correct this when people assume it because it seems unnecessary. My brother has been with his fiancée for about 2 years now. A few weeks ago, we were all meeting up at my parents' house, and my sister-in-law saw an old picture of me, my friend, and her husband. She pointed to my friend and asked who she was, and I explained that she was Lily's mother. My sister-in-law got quiet and stood in front of the picture for a while. I didn't think much of it. To clarify, she knows my friend died, but I guess didn't know that she had been married, or that Lily is not my biological daughter. I suppose she assumed my daughter was mine and my friend's biological daughter. My sister-in-law got a DNA test done on my daughter behind my back. She used my brother's DNA for the test, and when it came back that they weren't related, she knew that meant Lily and I weren't related. She came up to me with the results and waved them in my face, saying that I was taking care of a dead woman's affair baby. She said this to me in front of my daughter. I just stared at her for a while before bursting out laughing. I told her I knew Lily wasn't my biological daughter and that this thing called adoption exists. Her face went red, and she stormed off. My brother is mad that I embarrassed his fiancée, but I said she embarrassed herself by DNA testing a kid that isn't hers and then parading the results to me. What did she want me to do? What was her goal with this? Did she want me to break down and abandon my daughter? My brother said she thought she was doing the right thing and called me a jerk. I don't feel like a jerk, especially considering my sister-in-law was the one who stuck her nose where it doesn't belong. I'm asking for Reddit opinions, mostly just for validation, so was I wrong here? Update 2 days later. My brother put her up to the DNA test. My sister-in-law ended up coming to my house and apologizing, as well as telling me the full story. When I first adopted Lily, my brother, for some reason, believed that Lily was my biological daughter. He thought that Lily's mom and I were secretly together and just weren't telling anyone. He believed that when she got pregnant, Lily's mom told me that Lily was mine, and that she was going to claim it was her husband's. He assumed I went along with it because I didn't really want kids. My sister-in-law was under the impression that I believed I was Lily's biological dad. When she saw the picture of Lily's mom and me, and after asking who she was, she assumed we were together in it. She became suspicious when she noticed that the other guy in the picture, Lily's actual biological dad, looked a lot like Lily. To clarify, I didn't tell her that Lily's biological dad was in the picture because she had specifically pointed to Lily's mom, and I assumed she knew that Lily was adopted. I didn't know my brother had been telling her lies for nearly 2 years. She got the DNA test because of her own suspicions, and my brother helped her with it, thinking it would reveal that I was actually Lily's biological dad. He manipulated her into believing it would clear up any doubts, but in reality, he was trying to prove that I had been lying about the reasons for the adoption and was really Lily's biological father. Of course, the results showed I wasn't Lily's biological dad, proving my brother was wrong. My brother felt too embarrassed to confess to his fiancée that he had lied about the situation, which is why my sister-in-law confronted me with the results. My sister-in-law also apologized for showing me the results in front of my daughter. She explained that her mother had an affair, got pregnant with another man's child, and let her father believe the child was his. When her father found out, he was devastated, and my sister-in-law became very resentful of women who do that to their spouses. She had intended to sit me down and talk to me about it without my daughter present, but when she saw me with her, she got angry, thinking I was being deceived into raising another man's child. In that moment, she exploded and immediately waved the results in my face. My sister-in-law feels very guilty, and she's angry at my brother for lying to her. I'm not angry at her for doing the test, because she thought she was doing the right thing. I also forgave her for the way she told me about the results, as affairs are clearly a sensitive subject for her, and I can understand why she would have exploded like that. I'm pretty sure she plans to break up with my brother now, and I don't blame her. When I called and asked my brother about this, he admitted it. When I asked why he would think this, he said he couldn't understand why a man who had been against having kids at the time would willingly adopt a baby without a blood connection. He told my sister-in-law that I was Lily's biological dad and was aware of it. He even took it a step further, claiming that Lily's mom and I were together at the time of Lily's conception. Both my parents and I are going low contact with my brother for a while. I know I'll eventually forgive him, but I can't do that right now. He believed I was capable of having an affair with a married woman, getting her pregnant, taking no responsibility, letting her pass the child off as another man's, and then only stepping in because her mom died.